All right, week 6. Well done on all the work that you've done over the last 5 weeks. This week we're going to look at tying everything in together. So we're going to look at systematizing and using different rules like the 80-20 rule and improving on all the things that we've done. So bringing each week in together, and it's going to really start making sense all the work that you've done as well. And we're going to start seeing some rewards for all the stuff that you've done. So it's going to be a bit more work this week, a little bit of extra work. So probably looking at about an hour, hour and a half every night, but it will start bringing it all together and you'll start to see the rewards. So well done again. I appreciate all the work that you've done, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, week 6, Monday. Today and tomorrow, we're going to look at systematizing. We've taken 2 days because this is quite a big process and you're probably going to be spending an hour to an hour and a half each night. So we'll look at about 2 to 3 hours for this process to really sort of take hold. And it's probably going to be a lot more than that down the track. But systematizing at its core is it's going to help you in so many different ways. And until you start doing it, you won't see the benefits of it. Start off with something really, really basic. Think about mopping the floor. When you get staff mopping the floor in a different fashion, it's going to show up differently. They're going to have different procedures and they're going to have their own way of doing things. But if you keep that consistent amongst all your staff, they know where things go, where to go and collect things, how hot to make the water, how much soap to put in there, and exactly how to mop the floor and make sure it's dry for the morning's trade. If you're going to have something a bit more complicated like making meals, you don't want variations in those meals or drinks. Have you ever gone into a cafe and when they've made a coffee for you, it's different from barista to barista? You don't want that. You want your coffee consistent no matter who's making the coffee. Because if that staff ever leaves or if they're away for the day, you don't want a customer coming in and then turning away and walking back out the door because that staff or that staff member, that barista is not there for the day. So consistency is the key, and it's also going to give you ability to leave and step away from your shop and have peace of mind knowing that your shop's going to be run according to how it's been written down in the operations manual. And if it's not, you can put your staff up on that. But it's also going to give your value, your business a lot more value should you want to sell it. So if somebody comes in looking down the track, if they want to come and buy your cafe and they look that you've got all these systems and procedures in place, that is unduplicatable. That's hard for another cafe to replicate. You can't just build a cafe and create all these systems. This has taken you a lot of time to create. Even though it'll take you a very short time, within a couple of weeks to write down most of it, it's taken you a long time to develop it, either in your mind or years behind a coffee machine actually developing these programs. So there's only 3 things that you need to remember, and this is all in the workbook, but basically the 3 things are: you write down the task, write down some notes, some basic notes on the steps of those tasks, and then elaborate on those notes. So write down the task, write down the basic steps, and then elaborate. And let's use mopping the floor again as an example. So the headline is mop the floor. That's that's step 1. Step 2 is fill up the bucket, mop the floor, empty the bucket and put the bucket away. And then you elaborate on those. Go and get the bucket from the cupboard, fill up the bucket 3/4 full, put 30 ml of soap in there. You get the idea. So you elaborate on those steps, and that's all it is to systematizing. So you want to get all your staff on board with exactly the same consistency and processes, and it will make your life so much easier, I guarantee you. So let's get stuck into it. Follow all the work through, all the procedures in the workbook, all the systems in place, and I will see you on Wednesday. All right, week 6. Today, we're going to go back over what we've learned over the last 5 weeks. We're going to spend a bit of time on this. It's probably going to take an hour to an hour and a half each night, tonight and tomorrow night, but we're going to start at week 1. So if you remember, week 1 was your costing. What else can you do to improve the pricing of your item, reduce the cost and increase the price? Can you upsell, cross-sell, downsell? So we're going to look at every day from that first week. And then we're going to go on to week 2. So week 2, if you remember, was your target, your demographic, your target audience. What else can you do to improve what your cafe looks like for your target audience? So go over each day from week 2. Then we've got week 3, which was your menu. Can you improve the quality of any of your menu items? Can you cut back your menu? Can you improve the font on your actual menus? Then we've got our decor. That was week 4, was your decor. So what can you do to improve your decor for your target audience? Go back over each one of those days. And then the final one was your marketing. What else can you do to improve your marketing? Are your Google reviews still looking pretty good? Are you targeting the right websites? Is your social media still on track? So are you hitting your customers? Are you targeting your customers correctly? Okay, go back over each one of those weeks. Good luck, and I will see you on Friday, final day. week 6, Friday. Hey, good job. You've done a lot of work to get this far. Today we're going to learn something very important. This is probably going to be one of the most important life lessons that you're going to learn throughout this entire course. Now everything, I know I've said that a few times, this is probably the most important thing you'll learn, but this is something that you're really going to be able to take home. It's something called the 80-20 rule. And it's simply this: 80% of the income comes from 20% of your product, or 80% of the reward comes from 20% of the effort. So if you think of it like this, if you think about your cafe and you take 100% of your items, you'll probably be able to narrow it down to about 20% of your items generating 80% of the income. If you think about it, you've probably got your bacon and eggs and your coffee, and 20% of those items on your whole menu, that's probably generating about 80% of the income. If you think about it like your workday, 80% of your achievements throughout the day will probably come from about 20% of your efforts. A lot of the rest of the day is just setting things up and getting organized. And that can be said for anything. So if you're exercising, 80% of the rewards comes from about 20% of the effort. And if the more you think about this, the more you put this towards your life, you'll be able to realize that you could probably cut out a lot of all the things that you don't really need. Once you start realizing that 80% of all the effort that you do doesn't really account for much, you can start whittling down the unimportant processes in both your cafe and in your life. Okay? Look up the 80-20 rule in the workbook. Try and follow back what I've got written in the workbook, and you will see it. This could be very, very life-changing for some of you. It certainly has been for me. There's even a couple of books on the 80-20 rule. So follow through the workbook, and I'll see you in the final video. All right, week 6, day 5. Congratulations, you have completed the course. Well, sort of. You've got to go back and start at week number 1 again and go through the entire 6 weeks for the next 6 weeks. So it'll be a lot quicker for you because you've already done all the work, so you'll probably only be looking at spending 15 or 20 minutes each night on each day. But at the end of the second 6 weeks, if you don't see a drastic improvement in your cafe, in fact 100% improvement turnover, as promised, you get the full offer of the course refunded back to you if you like. So well done, I salute you, and congratulations on completing the course again. And may fine food and coffee rain upon you. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully in the next course.